Lay out 8 regular T-connectors, 4 T-connectors with round slots, 12 tubes, and 6 leg centers. Insert all tubes into connectors as shown, starting with 1 T-connector with round slots, followed by 2 regular T-connectors. When finished, you should have 4 tube connector layouts. Build the trampoline legs by inserting 2 tubes into each leg center until you have 6 legs assembled. Insert the leg center into the right side of the first tube connector layout. Next, insert a leg center into the second tube connector layout, but this time the leg center should be in the middle. Repeat with the other leg centers, inserting them into the tube connector layouts. Here is how everything should look. Move all tube connector layouts in a clockwise order so they form a square, leaning them onto their leg centers. For safety, make sure to remove any toys or obstacles from the area you're assembling the trampoline. Join the first 2 layouts together. The assembly should be able to stand by itself. Add the other 2 layouts to complete the circle, making sure they are attached firmly. Insert 2 additional leg centers, each into 1 regular T connector, 1 T connector with round slot as shown. Make sure all joints are in place by hitting each joint with a wooden or rubber mallet. The trampoline frame should now look like this, with 6 total evenly spaced leg centers. Lay the bed on the ground inside the frame you have assembled. Warning decals should be face up. Find the V-ring with the yellow stitching. This is the first V-ring to attach to the frame. Hook one end of the spring into a V-ring along the edge of the bed and attach it to the frame. Hook the second spring into the V-ring with yellow stitching on the opposite side of the bed. Use the spring pulling tool to pull the spring from the bed to the hole slot in the trampoline frame, keeping tension even. Attach more springs halfway between the first 2 springs. Continue attaching springs halfway between the previously attached springs until all springs have been attached securely. Lay the frame pad on the frame. Locate and line up the holes in the pad with T-connector slots where the enclosure poles will go. Find the webbing straps near the edge of the bed. They're under the trampoline. Feed the strap around the pole and up through both D-rings. Then loop it over and feed it between the D-rings and pull downward to tighten. Repeat this with the remaining straps. From underneath trampoline, find the elastic tie downs and thread one end of the elastic tie down through the V-ring and then tie a knot. Repeat this step with remaining straps. Attach the safety placard included to the frame near the place where jumpers will climb on and off the trampoline. The trampoline is now fully assembled. Spread out all of the enclosure pieces, making sure you have all parts for assembling the enclosure. The only tool you will need is a Phillips head screwdriver. Assemble the 4 enclosure poles by taking the top pole and inserting it into the bottom pole. Then line up the holes on the poles and take a self-tapping screw and screw it into the hole. Once all 4 poles are assembled, you can place them into the T-connector slots. Spread the netting across the trampoline bed. Insert one of the top G3 poles into the opening at the top. Once the G3 poles are completely fed through the sleeve, you should now have the netting assembled in a round shape. Now it's time to attach the G3 poles and netting to the enclosure poles. With your shoes off, climb onto the surface of the trampoline. Snap the G3 pole into the plastic cap at the top of the enclosure pole. Next, move over to the opposite side and snap it in. Snap the other two sides in so the enclosure netting is hanging down from the top of the 4 poles. Using the cords, sew the lower edge of the netting to the V-rings on the bed. To do this, find the V-ring closest to the door. Thread one end of a cord through the lower edge of the netting above the V-ring. Now, thread the cord through the V-ring. Make a double knot in the cord and tie the netting to the V-ring. For sewing the remainder of the netting to the V-ring, first thread the cord through the lower edge of the V-ring and the V-ring to the left of it. Repeat until the entire cord is threaded through the netting of the V-rings, all the while keeping the cord taut. Tie the end of the cord to the last V-ring. The netting should now be sewn to every V-ring on the bed. The netting below the door also needs to be sewn to the V-rings. You should now have a completely assembled trampoline enclosure combo.